talking about consciousness and the collective consciousness. So I'm going to go over first what consciousness is, what your subconscious is, and then go into what the collective conscious is and the collective subconscious, how they connect to each other, how they relate, how they create the world around you, and what they have to do with manifestation. So we're first going to start with consciousness. So the first thing we're going to do is speak on what the collective conscious is, as far as who came up with this idea. And it'll be, hold on, my dog's walking around here. All right, so I'll be talking about the collective conscious. Now, consciousness, if you've been following my channel, is what creates reality. It's what creates your immediate world around you, your manifestation. Now, where it goes into collective consciousness is the world itself on a bigger scale, on a grander scale. So not just your own individual consciousness, but the consciousness of others goes into a larger area, you could say. So as far as manifestation goes, your immediate world is governed by your own consciousness. So this means that you can have a certain life, you can be in a certain situation, and then you can add or remove certain life experiences from your own individual life. So for example, you can go from being poor to being rich, or you can go from rich to being poor in your own individual life, but that doesn't mean that your manifestation will cause the world itself to be rid of poverty as a whole. That's more collective consciousness, collective subconscious. Now, it's important to know the difference because you play a part in the collective conscious, as well as the collective conscious plays a role in influencing your own thoughts as well. But you can't get rid of how the world works as a whole, if that makes sense. So let's say that you have, you live a life where you grew up and food was scarce, you had no money. So in your own individual world, in your own, the way that you live your life, you may have grown up starving, suffering, financially, and then you carry this point until, you do something about it, and then you can escape poverty. Now, this is your own world. You've now gone from poverty to riches, poverty to living a financial successful life. Now, this goes from any experience. So you can go from experiencing lots of suffering to getting out of it. Now, there can still be a lot of poverty in the world. There can still be lots of suffering. There can still be those experiences, even though it's not your experience, because everyone has their own experience. And the reason this is because everybody's conscious is different. And so this is where it pulls into the collective consciousness. So just because something is real for you doesn't mean that it's not real for someone else. And this is how it all plays into each other, because now we're going into how we work together. Our consciousness mixes, influences each other, and intertwines and plays with each other, interacts with each other. So this is going to be the big difference here. So in our everyday life as well, like, we're aware of some things that we do when it comes to manifesting. We can be aware that we say certain things, we try to manifest things. We try to go from point A to point B and say, well, I want to go from this state to another state. So this is things you consciously do. Now, subconsciously, there may be dialogue that you go through that may not benefit you. You may say things like, well, bad things always happen to me. So then this becomes a manifestation that you experience in your everyday life. Bad things happen to me. I always get the shorter end of the stick. These are some of the things that happen subconsciously. Now, in the collective subconscious, it's the same way. So for example, there's a lot of war that happens throughout history and even in modern times. This is more of a collective subconscious thing that happens. So it's a manifestation of everyone's idea as a whole that causes this. Now, in your everyday life, This can manifest as war within the household, right? So having problems with your family, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, even your own spouse. This subconscious idea of fighting, wanting to change things, control, manipulate, takes the form of that in the household. Now, when lots of people go through this, this manifests as war, blaming others on a grander scale. So this is war, this is politics and things like this. So this is how they intertwine and play with each other. They all have a relationship with each other and they all interact with each other. So now, on a big scale, if you wanted to change the world, if you wanted to do something about making the world a better place to live, then it is in everyone's best interest to change themselves. And then this affects the collective conscious and the collective subconscious. Now, in the Bible, there's a verse that says, I sanctify myself so that others may be sanctified through truth. This means that you don't change the world by changing others per se. You change yourself first. So the exact word for word goes like this. For their sakes, I sanctify myself that they also may be sanctified in truth. So you don't do anything by getting to anybody. All you do is change yourself and change your perception, because then this changes the way that your consciousness works and interacts with others, because we're always interacting with others consciously and subconsciously. Then it goes into the collective conscious and the collective subconscious, which then plays a role in the entire world. So it's not just about you, and it's not just about, living your best life per se. You living your best life is for the benefit of the world as well. It's not just, I'm going to live my life, I'm going to manifest myself a nice house, and I'm going to manifest peace for myself. When you do that, you're actually making the world a better place when you become the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's the reality with manifesting. So when it comes to the collective subconscious and how it affects you, this would be things like how everyone in the world at the same time believes the same things. And this can look like people believing that we all must, for example, go to school, follow this path, and do this in order to live a successful life. Any idea that we all share as a collective is considered an idea that could affect us. So if we want to overcome this, it's important to just be aware of it. Sometimes you can have thoughts and ideas that enter your mind and you wonder how they even got there. These can be thoughts of doubt, of fears that just enter your mind because your mind is connected to the collective mind as well. So in order to protect yourself from the mind of others, from the collective, and being influenced by what you see in the media, what you see on social media, you have to just be aware that these things are made to give you an impression. The way that your subconscious mind gathers impressions from the outside is whether or not you believe it to be true within yourself, whether you believe it or not as something real. So this can be, for example, feeling fear when you see something, accepting it as true, and really getting into that feeling that it impresses you. So a lot of times when you go into watching the news, for example, you get into fear, you get into guilt, you get into what are we going to do about this? So these feelings are what manifests within you. So now the collective has infiltrated your own mind. It's all about, if you don't control yourself, then somebody else will, something else will. And that's the reality. So this is just being consciously aware. And I always say this, 95% of your day usually is subconscious and 5% is conscious. So we just have to be a little bit more consciously aware of our everyday life in order to protect ourselves from outside ideas and outside beliefs. When it comes to the consciousness that we all have as individuals, I spoke about this in one of my shorts. I'll get into a little bit of detail right now. It'll be about how your ideas and your beliefs themselves become their own personalities and essentially their own entities. So in the Bible, it describes Daniel when it describes a beast coming out of the sea. It grows a horn and it grows a mouth and eyes. Now what this means is it's watching and it's speaking. It's creating its own identity, its own personality. So it becomes a thing. So all of your thoughts and your beliefs are things. And this is why in the Bible it speaks on God has a record of every single person's thoughts. And it's supposed to be something that he goes and looks like a record. And he just kind of flips through it and he can say, well, you thought this on January 2nd, 2001. It just simply means that your thoughts are actual things. They may not be something tangible that we can feel and experience here with our body, but there's something that we experience within our mind, something bigger than just our physical body. So our thoughts and our beliefs become something when they're felt. And this is what that beast in Daniel means. It has eyes and a mouth, meaning it's something now. It's something bigger than just something you think about in passing. It's a way of being, and it's a pattern, and it's a habit. So these things can just come across as you thinking you're not good enough. This would be considered a destructive beast. I'm not good enough. So then that idea becomes what runs your life now. So then this idea takes form in everything that you do. So let's say that you want to get married, you want to get a better job, you want to just do something else with your life. If you always have the I'm not good enough personality habit that dwells within you, it'll just go out of its way always to sabotage your life. Now, this is, again, your individual consciousness. Now, when we all carry this consciousness together, it becomes a collective idea into the collective conscious or the collective subconscious, which then the idea is within you, I'm not good enough, then sabotages you with everything that you do. It is now something bigger. If multiple of us have this idea, I'm not good enough, then it manifests as a bigger monster for all of us at the same time. And this is how this interacts and works together. We're all connected and we all interact with each other whether we know it or not. So the collective consciousness is picking up on this. So we all think this at the same time. It grows into its own personality, its own belief system. And then it's something that becomes much harder to get rid of on a bigger scale once we think about it all together. Carl Jung was the one who spoke about this. He talks about the collective conscious and the collective subconscious. And there's something else that he talks about, which is interesting, which gets into how you get rid of it as well. My throat is a little dry. Carl Jung speaks on shadow integration a lot. And what this means is if you have like a great belief, a great idea that is bringing you down, usually what happens is we want to ignore it. And as a society and as individuals, we do this a lot. This is where it gets into the subconscious and the collective subconscious, where we're manifesting something and we want to deny its existence, but we feel it and we experience it in our everyday life. So rather than ignore it and to continue to push it down, we have to integrate it. So the word shadow integration. Shadow implies something that is dark or you just can't see it. You're usually unaware, or over time, your mind just kind of blocks it out and throws it away. So it doesn't necessarily ignore it because your mind knows it's there. It just kind of blocks you from knowing it. So your subconscious knows it's there. It just blocks you from becoming even aware of it. So the first step is to become aware of what is happening and then integrate it within yourself, because as long as you ignore it, it doesn't mean that it's gone. It's just running your life in the shadows. And this is the worst part of it, because when it comes to manifesting, you may be manifesting something that you don't want for yourself unknowingly. So whatever your thoughts are, what you must do is see them for what they are, look at them, and just recognize that it's there. And there's nothing wrong with it per se, because acceptance doesn't mean that you're okay with it. Acceptance just means that you see it and you are aware of it. A lot of time there's this confusion about, well, I accept my life for what it is. And when it comes to manifesting, I feel like this is one of the things that are confusing to a lot of people, because, if you have a life that's miserable, you don't want to necessarily accept it. You want to grow from it and, move on from it. And that's understandable. That's what we all want. And that's what we're here for, manifesting a new life. But acceptance just means seeing it and integrating it within yourself, because it's already there. So if it's already there, you have it doesn't make sense for you to push it away. It's just kind of like accepting it and seeing it. It's like, okay, you're already here, so let's just meet each other where we're at, and let's just relax. Let's just speak. Let's just talk. So you're getting to know each other, essentially. You and your shadow, or you and those beliefs that bring you down. So for example, if there's a belief of I'm not good enough, you don't want to ignore it. All you do is say, okay, I am not good enough, so why is this? So then it'll give you the list of reasons. For example, I'm not good enough because I don't know people, I'm shy, I'm this, that, whatever reason it is. There can always be a big reason. It doesn't have to be true or not. Well, it can be true or not. So now, rather than just being mad at yourself, which happens a lot as well, it's just, okay, these are the reasons. Now I'm going to give you the reasons why I am good enough. So it has to be you and a cooperation with your mind, not you and a battle with your own mind. And this is what usually happens with harsh judgment, with anger with yourself. And it's like, well, I'm so angry because I think I'm not good enough and I'm so miserable. And this just compounds your own feelings. It's like adding on layers to your own feelings. It's like, well, I'm more angry because I'm angry with myself now. I'm more sad because I'm sad. So it's like you're not actually sad. You're already sad for something, but then you're just adding on more emotions. You're layering it and it becomes much more difficult. So what you just want to do is acknowledge your own feelings, acknowledge the idea and the belief, and then understand it, integrate it within yourself. And what this means is to simply, one, not react to it, which means not judging yourself harshly, just acknowledging it in the purest, rawest essence you can, in the most calmest way you can. No matter what it is you feel about yourself, no matter what it is what idea you hold about yourself, just accept it, just see it. And then get into the habit of just understanding it. Because once you understand it without having that emotional response, then it can't do anything to you anymore. Usually, those ideas come to stir us up. And if we don't get stirred up, then we're now above them, which is how it should be. We should be above our emotions because our emotions are just trying to tell us something, communicate something to us. And as long as we're ignoring it, just like in a real relationship, if you don't communicate, then there's a lot of problems, a lot of war, bumping heads. So this is you versus yourself, essentially. Shadow integration is all about having peace, which is essentially the opposite of war. The war happens within your own mind, within your own experience. And then this can manifest outwardly as poverty, as problems with others, as problems with your managers, work, whatever it is. Everybody has a different way of manifesting the wars that go on within our own head. And they manifest as different experiences. So this is the first thing we have to understand. Then this gets into the collective conscious and the subconscious. So first, you want to clean out your own house, essentially, which means your own mind. And then you can go about helping others. But yeah, the Bible verse is always, I sanctify myself first so that others may be sanctified through the truth. And the truth in this aspect just simply means what you believe to be true of yourself. Because your beliefs and ideas will tell you what is true to you. If the truth for you is I'm not good enough, then that just becomes what others think of you. So there's really nothing to change when it comes to others. It's all about you first. Everything that you do is about your own benefit. So if you are trying to forgive somebody, for example, for doing something bad to you, it's not so much that you're forgiving them for what you did to you. You're actually forgiving yourself first, so that then their impression of you changes. It's actually in reverse, which I think is one of the coolest things. It's like we all have everything backwards, and in manifestation, it happens backwards. You don't think about, well, I'm going to forgive them what they did for me. You first forgive yourself. It's like, well, I forgive them because this is something that holds me to them, holds me accountable to them. Because what you're doing is if you always blame others, whether or not they actually did something bad to you, then your consciousness has a hold with them. You're actually projecting it towards them. And they're the ones that now have control over you and your emotions. Because every time you think about this, if somebody did something bad to you, and it can be very hard a lot of the times, if somebody did something very bad to you, And every time you saw them or thought about what they did to you, it elicited an emotion. This emotion stirs up within you and then manifests outwardly. This is what happens typically. Now, to overcome this is to simply forgive yourself first and accept what has happened, because, again, whenever you elicit an emotion, then this will just continue to manifest as something outside of you. So if one person did something to you that harmed you, and it's hard for you to forgive them, then what will most likely happen in manifestation terms is that will continue to happen because the emotion continues to rise up within you. And this is how patterns continue to play out. This is why in the Bible and things, it tells you so many times, forgive, not because it's annoying or it's because something that you must do or else. It's just something that sets you free, in essence. Once you forgive, which means just forgiving yourself, letting it go, accepting it, seeing it for what it is, you release that experience from ever happening again in your life. So you will break the cycle. And I feel like that is very important, because a lot of people think that, the Bible is a whole book about rules that are annoying. But once you really know what it's about your own experiences, your own manifestations, the way that you experience life itself. So when you forgive others, you're forgiving yourself. It's backwards, and it's always backwards in manifestation. So again, you sanctify yourself, you sanctify others. If you want to change how other people think of you, you change the way you think of yourself. So no matter if people see you a certain way, it's simply a mirror and a reflection of what you actually think of yourself. And it can also be what the world thinks of itself. So it's always interacting with each other. It's a two-way mirror, essentially. It's reflecting back and reflecting back in itself. So you'll notice that a lot of people do project their own feelings to you, and then you project your feelings back. So it's always a reflection. So to avoid that, again, it's important to acknowledge those ideas within yourself. See other people as a mirror. See them as a mirror in understanding yourself. And whenever you speak to somebody, it's in your best interest as well to simply understand what they're saying. No matter what idea they have of you, just see it as information and don't see it as a harsh judgment or something difficult. It's just an exchange of information. The same way if you're arguing with anybody, a family member, a friend, a spouse, if they're telling you something, just take it as information, not as harsh criticism. Just see it like, okay, this is what's happening. And I'm going to see it as a reflection on my part. And then you can actually get into changing things, not just simply denying things. And again, it goes back to shadow integration. But this is the whole thing. Your thoughts are things. They're actual experiences. And in a realm above this one, they're actually tangible things that you can experience. And you can see the interactions, how we're interacting with each other. And you guys can ask any questions if you guys are confused. I hope that makes sense. Collective conscious is something that is kind of complicated. Collective subconscious as well, and how we all play with each other. But one of the last things I'm going to talk about here is going to be telepathy, actually, and how our thoughts actually, like, we transmit thoughts to each other without saying anything. And that's one of the most important things to understand as well, because you can hold an idea about yourself and you don't have to say anything. It just kind of happens to somebody else. So I'll explain what that means. So whenever you have an idea of yourself, like let's say you have an idea that says, other people don't like me. People just don't like me. What happens is this idea transmits, again, your conscious and your subconscious, and then it transmits into the collective conscious and the collective subconscious. This idea you have, no one likes me. No one likes me because I'm short. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money. This idea becomes something that you believe. It elicits an emotion inside of you. So what happens is the collective picks up on it. So what happens is other people that you meet will think about this because you think about that of yourself, not because they automatically think that of you. So it's like, have you ever met somebody who doesn't like somebody else for no reason? That's because of that. Because your consciousness is projecting that. You're now influencing others' ideas to think that of you. So that's how it works. So every idea and every belief manifests. So even in other people. What you want to do in order to avoid this is, again, go back to the beginning. Change the way you think about yourself. So rather than think other people don't like me, you switch it from that into other people like me. Other people enjoy being around me. So then this becomes what other people pick up, what other people experience when you're in the room, because this is now what you are manifesting. Manifesting is not always about manifesting a house, physical things. It's about manifesting experiences. And the way that it interacts with others is whatever you believe to be true about yourself, other people will believe to be true about you as well. And it depends on if you really believe that about yourself. Now, a lot of people do believe that about themselves, and a lot of people think a lot of different things about themselves. And this is how it manifests, how other people will pick that up. A lot of people are unconscious. Their subconscious just picks up the consciousness of others, and so on. Again, it's always interacting with each other. Your conscious field interacts with the conscious field of somebody else, and we're always picking up each other's ideas. And this is how manifestation works within itself and how it intertwines with each other. So we have to be very careful about what we believe of ourselves. So it's not necessarily about others. So that's another example. You can't try to force somebody to change the way they think about you by force or by doing anything. Because if it's you projecting that into their head, then you see it makes no sense. It's all about you. So change the way that you perceive yourself, change those ideas within you, and then everything else will change around you. And that's a lot easier than actually trying to change everybody, because you can have this idea within different groups. So for example, you can have this idea where I always have problems at work. People at work don't like me, but then you can have a very rich family life. So you see how it splits. So there's many different ideas and beliefs that go into very different things. You can have the best home life, the worst work life, and then the worst love life, you know? So it depends on each individual space that you believe in. So rather than attack all those individual things, there's only one thing to change, and that is yourself. And this is how you change others. This is how you change the world, essentially. If we all thought at the same time something good about ourselves, then we would all actively change the world. And this is how you do it. This is why the Bible speaks on that. Change yourself. Don't worry about what your neighbor is doing. Worry about what you're doing, because that's what's most important. You can never do anything to change anybody by force and manipulation, because it's not real. It's artificial. It's too much work too. It's better to change yourself. It's much simpler. It's much cleaner than to go outside of yourself and force changes. Just let things flow more. Be a lot more natural with yourself, with others. Just understand that your ideas play with theirs, interact with theirs. And then you'll be a lot closer to manifesting the life that you want and just helping the world change as a whole as well. Well, I hope that makes sense. If any of you have any questions, feel free to ask them down here, and I'll answer them. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Collective conscious, individual conscious, and how it plays together. But that's what I wanted to hop on here and just speak on. Another thing that I think about when I speak on these things is how just being aware is one of the things that by itself can transform the way that you think and the way that others think. So if you understand how manifestation works on the deeper level, that by itself will just help you to change, because then there's a lot of pressure to force a change within yourself. It's like, okay, well, now I understand this stuff. So now I have to change myself today. I have to do something about all of this. But I always say, just let it naturally happen, because that pressure just serves to do the opposite. Or there may be a lot of guilt in regards to, okay, I'm causing other people to think about me, but it's not supposed to be stressful, and it's not supposed to be something that's adds more pressure. It's supposed to be relieving. So if it's stressful, just take a deep breath and just understand it all has to do with you. This is why, like, even like mental health plays a role in it, like self-conception, self-esteem, and confidence. Just understand that they're connected, and there's always something that you can do. No matter what you have, no matter what idea, belief, there's always something you can do to change it. You can change your identity, change your state, and that's what it's all about, essentially. Once you put on the new version of yourself, the old one falls away. But the old one will always want to catch up and remind you of who you used to be. But don't worry. Just continue moving forward in your life, naturally. No matter how long it takes, slowly. Just build upon yourself. Take time out of your day to just relax. There's no need to force things, force outcomes. And manifesting, that's just what you don't want to do. All right. So I spoke about all these things. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Now, I want to do these lives every week around this time, like 7, 8 o'clock. I'm on Eastern time. So if any of you have any questions, you can leave them on my channel. If you guys have any suggestions of any lives in the future, I'll be more than happy to speak on that, speak on the symbolism or whatever it is, manifestation. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. I want to connect with you guys more and just kind of build a community where we can talk about these things, talk about mysticism, symbolism, and just make it a safe space to talk about, and just kind of help each other with manifestation and help each other get in the right mindset for it to become natural, not something that should be forced or something that is stressful or heavy. Because to me, manifestation is the highest form of spirituality. Just understanding that it's not about having material things necessarily. It's about your experiences and having peace in your life. So I just want to come on here and connect with everybody and just make it a safe place and just put the power back in your hands, essentially. Going from being outside of us to now bringing it within you, and then changing your whole experience, changing your life from the inside out. That is my goal, and that is my work, I guess you can say, and what I want to contribute and give to you guys all. So yeah, thank you guys for being on here. I'll be on next week. So yeah, around the same time, like, what time is it now? Like 9? Yeah, like around 8 o'clock, 8:30-ish. I'll be on next week. So I look forward to it, and I'll see you guys then.